up, everybody? Hey, we're going to talk about why God has established rest as a rhythm, a weekly rhythm for us, and why honoring our fathers and mothers and why family is so important to God. Through question number 10 in the Catechism, what does God require in the fourth and fifth commandments? The answer, fourth, that on the Sabbath day we spend time in public and private worship of God, rest from routine employment, serve the Lord and others, and so anticipate the eternal Sabbath, eternal rest. Fifth, that we love and honor our father and our mother, submitting to their godly discipline and direction. A lot of implications to that. We'll talk all through them. So let's start with the Sabbath. What is it? It's a day of rest each week that we set aside to not do work, not do the things of employment. Now, this is probably, of the Ten Commandments, one of the more difficult for us in Western America to embrace. And I want us to understand that God didn't put it in there in the Ten Commandments because it wasn't important. God put it in the Ten Commandments because it was important. Now, so our culture is going to push back against this in a number of ways. From as long as you can remember, starting in grade school and moving all the way up, you have been rewarded for your performance. Our grading scale is based on how well you perform on the test or on the homework or whatever. And that starts early. That starts in pre-K, and we're developing this kind of performance-driven, performance-oriented culture that graduates through. We teach this in athletics. The harder you work, the better you're going to be. And so we have this. The culture has this mindset of, in Western culture in America, work hard and you achieve. That's not necessarily a bad thing until it becomes an idol. And so how do you keep it from becoming an idol? You implement Sabbath, okay? And so the culture kind of defines. Matter of fact, in our culture, you can be applauded for being somebody that works and even be applauded for somebody who overworks. Now, from a Christian's perspective, what it's going to look like to be an overworker. An overworker would be somebody who did not honor a day of rest. And so look at the instruction. God calls us to honor the Sabbath and keep it holy. What is the Sabbath? The Sabbath is a day of rest. God spent in creation, Genesis, 6 days creating creation, the world and men. And on the seventh day, he rested as a routine or as a rhythm for his creation. So we echo that. We say we work 6 days, we rest on the seventh. And so in our culture, there's a pushback. Now, here's the thing that we need to recognize. Many of us, if this is a struggle, like for some of us, for many of us, honoring the Sabbath is a struggle. We've got things we need to do, things that we need to get taken care of, and if we work 5 days a week, we only got Saturday and Sunday to get the rest of the things figured out, and so we end up working on Saturday and Sunday as well, only to start back on Monday and get in the same rhythm and habit. And so why is it that God has asked us to honor God on the Sabbath? Well, primarily because we don't have the capacity to continue to create on a regular basis. We don't have that capacity. Think about it. If God rested on the Sabbath, how much more do we need to rest on the Sabbath? God has all capacity. He didn't have to rest on the Sabbath. He was showing us how important it was to him. He has full capacity. But you and I, we have a capacity, meaning we are going to reach an end of our ability to continue to perform. Let me put it this way. If you think about like a checking account or a bank account, money goes into that account, and then you start spending out of that account. And at some point, you swipe your debit card, and if there's not enough money in the account to cover the purchase that you're trying to request with your debit card, it comes back insufficient funds, and they make you put all your stuff back, and you can't buy that particular item. Why? Because your account's empty. That's what capacity is. we reach a point to where we are unable to do the things that God's called us to do because we're out of capacity. We don't have the capacity to continue on. It's called burnout. It's called when we work too much and when we are going too much, we run out of capacity, and then we begin to operate our lives off of burnout. And sadly enough, in our culture today, there are tons of people who are living in a state of burnout because they've not realized and utilized this beautiful gift of God in this commandment to rest on the Sabbath day. So I just strongly encourage you. God has given us the opportunity in the gospel to take him at his word and to implement a day of Sabbath and rest. Now, those of you who are in the marriage boot camp, this Sunday, we're going to talk about time and priorities, and we're going to talk way more in depth about this. But let me just, to close this particular part out, let me leave you with this. Honoring God in the Sabbath is super important, and there'll be some of you who are listening to this and say, well, I just can't slow down. I can't afford to slow down. You can't afford not to slow down, okay? And there may need to be some deep questions. There may need to be some dialogue that comes up in the discussion part of tonight. But man, I strongly encourage you, if you are living in such a way that you have no rest and margin in your life at all, man, contend with the gospel, contend with the Lord, and ask, Lord, how can I honor you in the Sabbath? Because to not do it is to not honor the Lord. And so if we can look at it in that light, again, to just kind of reiterate here, nobody's going to say, if I'm given to lying and I say, you know what, I'm just a liar, I built my life on lying, and there's nothing I can do about it, it's just how things are going to be. Nobody would look at that and say, are you serious? Like, okay, well, I guess you're just going to be a liar. No, nobody's going to say that. Like, look, stop lying. Rebuild your life. Stop lying. Such is the same way with the Sabbath. Let's rebuild our lives in a work rest rhythm because God's commanding that in His scriptures. Secondly, honor your father and mother, and I just want to talk about this in this light. First of all, God puts a great deal of emphasis on the home, okay? So I'm going to start, for those of you who are parents, and we've got teenagers listening to this, and all the way up to people who their kids are out of the house. But let's start with the home. Guys, I can't overemphasize how important the home is to the Lord. And He says, honor your father and mother, and that your days may be long on the earth. He's thinking about this from a perspective of the parents, okay? As a father and as a mother, what we want to create in our homes is an environment and an atmosphere that our children can respect what we are about, how we lead, how we love them, how we parent them. We don't want to give them any excuse not to respect our pursuits, our leadership in their lives. We want to be respectable parents, right? And so the way that we do that is that we constantly put ourselves before the Lord, asking Him to change us so that when our kids are looking at us, hopefully they're seeing the love of our Father who loves us. And so as a parent, I just encourage you to create that sort of environment in your home to where you're in maybe a good discussion. Can the children in your home respect the leadership that you're giving them? And can they look at, are we making it easy to honor us as we lead our kids? And then the other side of this that I want to look at is from the kids' perspective. There are some of you, I know your stories, that it's very difficult. You've grown up in very difficult environments where parents did not give you a real good reason to respect their leadership. And I just want to encourage you to still take this commandment seriously and recognize that you can respect someone without condoning and even having to turn a blind eye to some of the negative things that they've done to you or in your life. And the Bible says something. he says, love not only your neighbor, but your enemy. Okay, so we have this calling from a gospel perspective to even love our enemies. And so what I want to strongly encourage you, even if you've grown up in an environment that it's hard to honor your parents, ask the Lord to help you with that. Meaning you don't have to submit to all of the sinful things that you've seen done. You don't have to submit to that. However, I know what it is to love someone that you don't necessarily respect what they do or how they go about life. And so there is a place in the gospel to be able to love them anyway. Lastly, I'll leave you with this. For all of us who have been raised by parents who love the Lord and love us, we ought to just pause and give God some worship and praise for just a good gift that he's given us. And if you are watching this and you're one of the teens or young adult and your parents have modeled for you what it looks like to walk with Jesus, man, just thank God for that and thank them for that too, because that home life is a big deal to the Lord, and it's amazing how that home life can, for generations, spread the gospel and the love of Christ throughout generations. So it's a good gift from God. So pause and worship the Lord on that. So anyway, a lot of conversations going to come of this. I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes, and I'm at 11 and a half. And so I love you. I'll see you Sunday, and have a good conversation tonight. God bless.